Welcome to my mess. It is kind of odd yesterday that I completely missed the fact that it was my 50th consecutive day doing this Dad's Day vlog. And that term just makes my skin crawl, but that's what people know it as. I guess, if you've got to call something something, you might as well call it what people will recognize, I suppose. So I decided that today I was going to do a little experiment, and instead of just sitting here talking through the whole thing, I'm actually going to try and interleave a couple of clips and see how that works out. I need to be expanding my skills, as it were, on the editing side of things and the creativity side of things, and it's going fairly slowly as far as getting any of the kids' stuff worked out. So I'm kind of trying to wait that out, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. It's just my son doesn't want to start until summer, which is fine. He wants to start recording videos, but he doesn't want to do any of the editing and that sort of stuff until summer. And then my daughter spends a lot of time doing Musical.ly and other things that girls apparently right now do, because she has a couple of friends that are doing this. And she does have one friend who's moving away imminently. I mean, not far, but far enough that she's not going to be going to the same school anymore. And so she's wanting to spend more and more time with her doing her stuff, and that's fine. I understand. Spend as much time with the friends you've got while they're there. Makes perfect sense. So, and additionally, I've been trying to get some squeezing exercise in. So, today I walked, I think it's approaching 5 miles, and it's not all flat. It's downhill, uphill, then uphill again, to do the loop that I've done 3 times today. And for an out of shape fat guy, it's a significant walk, and I can feel slick spots on my feet from the bad shoes that I'm wearing. So I'm going to be in the market for shoes here soon. Also, at the same time, I'm going to be trying to find a good hatchet, which is a strange thing to be looking for, but I have an idea. I need a camp hatchet, and I am looking at one that isn't too terribly expensive. I'm not looking to get one of those $300 specialists, sorts of things. I want something that for the next, that I can sharpen up, and for the next couple of months use it to whittle away at a lot of the stacks of brush that I've got in the back and get used to it and use it as kind of an exercise. I have an axe, so that's a thing, but with my arm injury, swinging an axe just isn't an option. And it won't be for several months. So I was thinking a hatchet, at least I can do little movements, and dealing with saplings and fairly thin stuff, chopping it up for our fire pit, and hand making some mulch, oddly enough, just as an activity to kind of. And I thought about maybe doing some experimenting with some fire sets and see if I can't, experiment with those, see if I can get a fire going by hand, just with the debris that I've got in my yard. Do I think it's going to work? No, I don't think it's going to work. Not with my arms being the way they are and being out of shape and not really knowing a whole lot. I haven't had to light a fire since Boy Scouts, and that was a long time ago, and we cheated. Boy Scouts cheat just constantly. So it's like, okay, yeah, you have to make this fire and you're supposed to use stuff, but you can bet that your Jasm has some matches that he can slip in if needs be. So anyway, well, I've already talked for almost 6 minutes, and I haven't even mentioned the stuff that I got clips of today. So today I took, it was my youngest daughter's special day in our household. Each kid gets a special day, and there's one special day each weekend, and they get to pick a parent and then pick something to do with that parent. So the youngest went with my wife to get lollipops, get suckers from a store, and go and look at some horses that were here for some sort of a show, and what have you. So there was, and I told them to stay away from the bulls. The bulls looked a little bit irate, so I said, just don't get close to them. You'll be fine. But if you go to look at them at the fairgrounds, just stay away from the bulls. And they were jumping all over each other, and just generally not happy with the situation. And they looked intact, but I know just very little about cattle in general. And so while she was off doing a thing, I took the older two to do some older kid stuff. We went to the state park, where there's an archery range, and I actually bought the kids their own really cheap fiberglass bows, recurves. They're actually kind of straight stick. They're not even recurves. But they're, little fiberglass bows. I don't know. They've got maybe 25-pound draw weight. I mean, they're really, really weak. 15, 20, I don't know. I haven't measured it. But I bought them bows and some arrows, and I'd been meaning to take them out there for years now, 2 years at least. So I went and took them. And unfortunately, we ran into the fact that there was some sort of organized group there that was taking up more space than I felt comfortable with, just kind of showing up and working alongside them. So we kind of went to the beach that was nearby. It was a warm day, but the wind was kind of bitter, and it got a little too cold for us. For my daughter in particular, because she was dressed for a warm day. She was dressed for an 80-degree day, and it wasn't quite there yet. And then we went back and looked at the archery place, and it was empty. And so we went, and I don't know, they probably shot maybe 40 arrows each. They only had 10 arrows, and then we ended up losing one, but we found one that wasn't ours, and that meant that we left with the same number of arrows that we showed up with, and somebody's going to find one of our arrows someday. There's something about the ground cover there, and the angle was such that a lot of it was just kind of sliding right along the bottom, right along under the grass, and just disappearing. So I shot one arrow just because I wasn't convinced that the target that they were using, was actually going to stick with these field points that we had, these practice arrows. But it did stick. So I was concerned that the bows were too weak to actually stick the arrows in there. But they did manage to get a few to stick, which is fine. And they were hitting the target well enough. Right now, they're at a point where I just want them to get stronger, get used to the weight, and get used to how you hold, that sort of thing. So we did that, and yeah, I've got a few clips, and I'm trying to try and weave those in. Hopefully, with my rambling talk, I have enough time in there to talk over them. Okay, so I'm going to cut it there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks.